Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the LFGM podcast. Let's fucking go, Mets. The Mets, in a 5-game series, they managed to squeak this one out before the rain today. Just dropped two. They lost three, 1-2, so they dropped a game against the Atlanta Braves. And it is now 3:30 on this lovely Thursday afternoon. So in 24 and one half hours, the trade deadline will have passed us. Matt, how you doing, buddy boy?
Doing good. I mean, it's going to be like a 24-hour watch party at this point.
It's crazy. Twitter is a cesspool of just like nonsensical rumors and things. And the Yankees strike gold last night, getting their guy. They get Joey Gallo. So we'll see what Steve Cohen and Sandy Alderson and Zach Scott have up their sleeve here in the next 24 and a half hours.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it seems like we're going to get someone bigger than I even am hoping for, really. But it just seems like that's what's coming out.
Yeah, after today and after the series, really, the offense is just anemic, right? It's Pete Alonso hitting home runs. It's a few walks here and there, or maybe a bloop single, but we're not really stringing together hits. Hitting with runners in scoring position has been quite an issue, and we're just awful against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, I do like that we're still hitting the ball, though. You know what I mean? We're still getting hits. It's a different kind of situation than it was a month ago or something. So, my concern isn't really there. Maybe it should be. I don't know. But, I think guys like Conforto will come around. He's just so streaky. That's just the kind of player that he's going to be. And I don't know what he's going to command as a free agent, but if the Mets or whatever team is signing him, they probably got to be prepared for it. That's the player that you're probably going to get.
Yeah. First off with Conforto, that throw last night was money. He threw a fucking dime to home plate, and a great tag by McCann. He got a little handcuff there. Was still able to put the tag on and helped Edwin shut the door there on the Braves. But yeah, he's all over the place. He's pretty inconsistent with the bat, but we know this, right? We've known this with Michael going, back 4 or 5 years now. He's a roller coaster at the plate. He'll go, 5 for 10, and then he'll go 0 for 10. And, he's in one of those slumps right now. And it seems like when it's just when you think Mike can't get a hit is when he pops one 410 feet over the, center field wall. So I'm just waiting for him to come around and get hot. But yeah, today was tough. Drew Smiley should not be, we got runners on the corners in the first inning and can't scratch out a run. That was tough. It was tough. Tough loss today.
Yeah, it was things like that that's frustrating. And like you said, with the pitching, it's not like we're facing anyone too crazy on the mound. So, that was disappointing. The way I look at it is the Braves are the second best team it's looking like in this division. I know it's very close between them and the Phillies, but I don't know. I'm a little bit more I think the Braves are a lot better than the Phillies. I would be way more concerned with the Braves than the Phillies at this point. And especially after this series, the Braves played some good baseball, so I got to give them a little bit of credit too. But let's face it, we both our last 10, we're both 5-5. So
So the Mets are 54 and 47. They're 7 games over 500. Both the Braves and the Phillies right now, as it stands, are 4 games back. The Braves are 51 and 52, under 500, and the Phillies are 50 and 51, under 500. It seems like both the Braves and the Phillies are going to try to be buyers as well. So it seems like they both think that they've got a shot at the division because, let's be honest, the wild card's not happening for anybody in the NL East this year. It's going to be division or bust because when you look out west and you have the Giants who are already over 60 wins, and you have the Dodgers who are over 60 wins, and then you got the Padres right there at 59. So I don't foresee any wild card teams coming out of the NL East. at all.
No, that's not happening. It's not happening at all. And we're even lucky that we're in this division too. I mean, I do think we stack up well with the other teams in the West, but um, you know, with our last few months, pretty much all season with our injuries and stuff, it would have been tough to keep up with those other teams.
Definitely.
I do think we're like right there with a lot of them. It's just a matter of like, what do we get from one of these other teams that are out of contention?
So there's a few ways to look at it. You can look at it, the glass is half full and the glass is half empty, right? The person who says the glass is half full is going to say, this team hasn't been healthy all year. You've got your two best players, arguably, right, in Lindor and DeGrom on the IL right now. You're missing Syndergaard. You're getting Carrasco back. Like, this team is going to, when you put it all together, it's like a puzzle. It's starting to fit, right? And the glass half empty guy is going to say, well, they were 10 games over 500. It's been 45 games since that. They're 3 games under 500 in those 45 games. The Phillies and the Braves are right there. They're going to be making moves. Like, what are we doing? And I get both sides of that right now. I hate to be that guy that's like kind of stuck in the middle. But I totally see both sides of that argument there.
Yeah, I get it. Same. Like, I definitely see both sides of it. I mean, for us, I just think like it's important to take advantage of these home games. We did well on home while we're home, especially with we did well against Reds last time. They're a good team though, and they're going to probably add someone. They've talked about adding someone during this.
Yeah, I mean,
they
bolstered their bullpen. They took Sessa and
right.
Justin Wilson from the Yankees. I know Justin Wilson's having a down year, but if you look at Sessa's numbers, Sessa's had a really good year. So the Yankees pretty much gave him Sessa for free as long as they took Wilson too.
Yeah, and I think that they're going to probably. I mean, they've talked about adding a shortstop, whatever it may be. So we might see an even better team, which we probably will this upcoming weekend. So got to take advantage of that. And then when we go on the road, we do go on the road after that, I believe, for a little bit. Yeah. We haven't been good on the road. It would be nice to have a winning record on the road, and that's got to change. I mean, I think 22 and 29 away.
It's 3 at home with the Reds, the return of Jesse Winker, right? We get the black jerseys tomorrow night. Carrasco's first start as a Met. So that's, there's a lot there in that series, right? And then day off, I believe. Let me double check that. I think they have a day off. No day off. So after this 3 games in Cincinnati, we get 4 games down in Miami with the Marlins, who are pretty much selling the world right now. They already traded Marte. They traded some bullpen pieces. And then it's 3 with Philadelphia in Philadelphia. And then you get a day off after that before you get the Nationals. So it's not the hardest schedule in the world. It's a good 3, 6, 9, 9 and 4. We got a good 13-game stretch here before we go Dodgers, Giants, Dodgers, Giants. That's going to be a serious test.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, these next 7, 8 games are important. I am excited to see what Carrasco does.
Definitely analyzing Carrasco.
Right? That's a big part of this. If he looks awful, this is not good. I mean, either way, I'm thinking that they're going to get someone by that point, by the time he even takes the mound tomorrow. But that's interesting. That's for me, the most intriguing part of the series is if he pitches well, man, on that Friday night, that's going to be a packed house. Black jerseys are back, like you said. That is going to be big if he pitches well.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I think he's, a lot kind of rides on his shoulders. A lot rides on the health of Jacob deGrom, and a lot will ride on what happens here at the trade deadline. Before we dive deep into serious trade deadline stuff, let's talk about a few people who are still on the Mets right now. Let's dig into Taijuan Walker, because Taijuan pitched today and his last few starts have been, I'll say, not his best. And I think there's there's starting to be like a rising level of concern there. He seems to have lost a strikeout pitch, control, fastball bleeding over to the heart of the plate. And he started going to his curveball today, which I thought was really smart. Felt like he almost overused it a little bit, right? So, what are you seeing from Taiwan? Are you noticing anything that could be like a quick fix? Is there any cause for concern with you and how you're viewing Taiwan Walker?
I know like a lot of fans, especially you go on Twitter, they're just like, what is going on, and like ready to, give up and trade anything for a reliever or a starter right now because of that. But I'm not overly concerned, especially with the way he pitched today. It wasn't great, but he did, it was different than his previous outings where he just got rocked right away. I mean, he went into the fourth and fifth and, kind of lost control from there. And it could just be a little bit of like second half tiredness, whatever you want to call it. But I think like he'll just bounce back.
Yeah.
I think he'll bounce back next start, honestly.
Yeah, I hope so. Because, I'm a big fan. I've seen a lot, where maybe the Mets could move to a 6-man rotation to give these guys a day. I don't think someone like Jacob deGrom or Marcus Stroman is going to want to do that. I also think, if you're going down the stretch here, you're going to want your guys to, be pitching as much as they possibly can, right? So I'm with you with Walker. I think there is, a slight level of concern. I would say if there's another start that's like this, my concern level is going to raise a bit, but I'm not like freaking out, like going to Twitter and killing the guy right now. Let's see what he does his next start. And let's go from there. So right now the rotation consists of Stroman, Walker, Megill, Carrasco, and Rich Hill. So no more to be announced, no more TBAs. Jared Eichhoff gets DFA'd again, and quite frankly, if I never see Jared Eichhoff again, I'll be thrilled because that shit is just brutal to watch.
It's bad. A decent part of me felt bad for him too. No one wants to go out there, and he was just getting crushed with booze. It's man. Like, you got to assume that the guy prepared for a start and everything, and like just didn't go his way. So like, I'll never come down on a guy that hard because clearly he didn't want that. He probably knew he was getting his papers the moment he stepped off that mound. He was out. We all knew that. So. Let's be real. He'll get DFA'd. Is anyone going to pick him up? No. He'll be in the minor leagues. Hopefully, we don't need him in August.
He should accept the AAA demotion because
probably will.
Yeah. Why would you want to? I mean, why would you opt for free agency at this point? No one's going to sign you.
Yeah, it's too late. Unless it's like, yeah. I mean, I really don't know how that works, and I don't know if a team like the Orioles or someone just needs a guy and he could get that paycheck and just go out there and there are teams out there who have 1, 2, even 3 Jared Eichhoffs in their rotation just getting pummeled that's brutal. Like that the Orioles do that pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
Like just 3 guys that just get crushed every single outing, and it's that's rough. So I don't know what's in store for him, honestly. I do remember him, from Philly, he was pretty good, and they were, really, really high on him.
Yeah, him and Vince Velasquez, right?
Yeah, I like Velasquez, too. And
Velasquez is still on the team for them.
Yeah, he's kind of, proven himself to be a decent, long man role / he's played outfield before for them, too.
Yes.
He's athletic. But, you figure out what you really are those first couple of years in the league, and you're right though. We don't need to see him pitch for the Mets again.
No, if that would be just absolutely awful if he pitches for the Mets again.
It'd be
Also,
a bad sign
that
for us,
position of
right?
Rich Hill, we gave up nothing to get Rich Hill, really. We gave up a double-A catcher who's not a high-level prospect, and Tommy Hunter, who, as we've talked about before, Tommy Hunter had, some electric quotes early on in the year and came off the bench and right into the bullpen and had some good stuff. But Tommy Hunter is also on the 60-day IL too. So we haven't seen Tommy Hunter in I'm going to say almost 2 months.
It's one of my favorite stories of the season. He swung the bat one time, got a single, and threw his back out, and he's done. He's dead.
And now he's on Tampa.
He's dead. He got one hit, and once he made contact, his back just broke. It couldn't handle it.
So that's another, we want to talk trade deadline. I mean, we basically are replacing Jared Eichhoff with Rich Hill, and we saw Rich Hill pitch one game already. It was, nothing like it was like lights out. He's getting, dead ball contact, but that's another good move here by the front office of the Mets. I had a friend text me maybe like 10 minutes ago, and he was like, "Listen, if we started Tylor Megill, Aaron Loop, and Jared Eichhoff in a 5-game series against the Braves, and we only dropped one game, consider that a win." When you put that into perspective, like that, I mean, that kind of it says a lot, right?
And that's pretty much been the summary of this whole season too. You know what I mean? Where it's like we just have done a lot with a little, and sometimes it catches up to you.
Tylor Megill, let's talk about him a little bit. You call Seth Lugo Spectacular Seth. I'm going to start calling him the Magnificent Megill. This guy is he goes out there and he's just, he's not flashy. He's not throwing 97, 98, 99. Throws strikes. Has a little, I would say, like a little bit of a high pitch count. Plays to contact and just goes about his business. And it's like, what are we watching here? Like what is he a high level prospect at this point? Is he making his way up the charts? Like what's going on here with Tylor?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to figure that out every start, but
I think everybody's trying to figure that out, right?
Dude, he looks very polished. I know one thing. He looks very polished. He looks like a guy that, probably never had dominating stuff. And when you don't have dominating stuff and you play good competition, you figure out how to pitch real quick if you want to stick around. And he looks like a guy that probably has done that, And I love watching him pitch. I continue to roll him out there. It's not like we have a choice anyway, but the fact that he's come up and been this good is really a blessing for us. Because if he wasn't good, imagine how bad this would be right now. It would be real bad. So we're very lucky to have him.
Yeah. He's earned himself, a right to be on this team from here on out. I don't foresee him really going anywhere. It would be interesting to see, I think when Jake comes back and if they're going to slowly work Carrasco in or Rich Hill, I could see Megill or Rich Hill being the long man out in the bullpen because we don't really have a long man out there. And part of using an opener, like we said, we talked about Aaron Loop and him, he was an opener. We've seen Castro open. Part of using the opener is to kind of flip the lineup around and then put a starter out there, right? It's not just to do a bullpen game necessarily. I think we could see some creativity there. I think, we've got some options definitely in regards to starting pitching. I don't know necessarily if a starter, and maybe you feel differently, but I don't know if a starter is my number one want as the trade deadline approaches at this point.
No, I would. It's weird because it's it is a weird position to be put in because we really don't know what the status of DeGrom is. But let's be real.
Right.
We could get any starting pitcher. Berrios, the best of the best. Scherzer somehow decides to say yes and come, right? You get the best of the best. If we don't have Jacob DeGrom, we're not going anywhere this season.
I agree. I agree.
So
I mean,
you
if we
can
want to
kind of
talk
play
about
it like
question
that.
marks, yeah, if you want to talk about question marks in the pitching rotation, I mean, you could easily say DeGrom's a question mark, Cookie's a question mark, McGill is a question mark, Walker could be a question mark. I mean, these guys they're going to go out there and they're going to try their best and they're going to put it all on the line. And I think, at this point, whatever happens, happens. You have right now when DeGrom comes back, you'll have 6 starting pitchers. I don't really foresee us getting a guy like Berrios, especially if he has, years of control left and you're going to have to give up someone like a JT Ginter or Ronnie Mauricio for him.
Make no mistake about it, though, we're in the running for him. We're definitely in the running for him. Probably us, Yankees, Padres. I think there's like 4 or 5 teams, and I think we're one of them. Doesn't mean that we're going to get them.
You think Megill has made his way into any of these trade deadline talks?
I think people are going to inquire about him, especially if you're doing pitcher for pitcher and you get a guy like Berrios.
Yep.
Megill might be a guy that you throw in, which sucks. Is something that I don't want to see. I feel like the front office has different visions of what we're thinking right now. You know what I mean? Like, I think we would be happy with like something very minimal, something to boost up the pen, like we talked about Ian Kennedy or someone. I think they're looking at a star.
Yeah, is that star Berrios? Is that star Chris Bryant? Is that star maybe Javi Baez? Could you see?
Dude, that's a thing too. Those are big names, but there's so many question marks with all of those guys. Berrios has gotten hit hard by a lot of good lineups, right? He's crushed it against some bad lineups. It doesn't mean that he's going to come over and pitch bad, but there is a question mark with that. I mean, I've looked into it. Like, good lineups hit him decent. So I don't love him for that at all.
Yep.
Bryant is to me the most like consistent. Baez, we all know Baez. I mean, he swings at every single pitch.
We saw Javi come here, early on in the season. I mean, the guy was swinging for the fences every at bat.
Granted, him and Brian are so hot right now. Their stock is only going up.
Brian's heating up.
I don't know, man. It's not something I'm interested in. They are floating the rumors of J.D. Davis being available, which is tough too, because when you like look at the stats across the board hitting wise, he's pretty damn good.
He struggled mightily today. He just couldn't pick up a curveball. I don't think anybody on this team can really pick up a curveball besides Pete Alonso put that one into the third deck today, which was unreal.
That was a bomb. That was a bomb. There's been a few. He hit one. It was like left center in the second deck. I've never seen anyone hit it up there.
Crazy far. And that was a ball too. He had to go down there. He fished it out, man. But yeah, I don't know. You're right? Like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'd be thrilled if we got Ian Kennedy and if we got healthy.
Yeah.
And I think the front office is going, and I do think there is. It's weird because yesterday changed things, but I think the front office was going, this is our first year. Let's make a big splash, right? This is the change of ownership. This is part of a new culture here. Like, we can go out here and we can go get it and we can spend some money and it's all good, right? I think that was part of it. Yesterday changed things because when the Yankees go out there and they trade for Joey Gallo and you see a team across town with a worse record than you, that's a fact. Sorry, Yankee fans. It's just a fact. Who's bolstering their lineup? I think it kind of puts the pressure on the front office, and I think it puts the pressure on Steve Cohen to make a move and to do something big.
See, I don't know, man. If the Yankees got Max Scherzer, I could see you saying that. Joey Gallo does nothing for me. If Joey Gallo came to the Mets, he wouldn't do much for me either. I'm sorry, man. I'm not into like someone striking out every 4 out of every 10 at bats. I'm just not into it. I don't care about a guy like that.
Well, I think it's different, right? When he plays 81 home games there, I mean, he's going to hit pop flies that, I mean,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
drifting.
sure, yeah. But that's also the other thing. We could talk about the Yankees a little bit. They never get what they need. They
They
need
need
pitching.
starting pitching.
They want like they just
I
don't.
told
They
you know, I
when in
told my
doubt, get a
friend this.
DH. That's all they do. They
Yeah,
get a DH.
I told my friend this. I'm like, you guys have had the same problem for the last 4 years. Get
Yes.
a starter.
No, they'll just get another DH. They'll probably
Crazy.
get Schwarber after this.
They actually have been flirting with trying to get him too, and he's still on the IL too, which is funny. They've been rumored for Schwarber for years, also.
Yeah, I mean that would be the one that makes the most sense because he would just absolutely crush there. Gallo will too, but it's still going to be 240. It's still like
Yep.
It's still not going to solve pitching more than anything. Honestly, he can hit 50 home runs. It's not going to solve your pitching issue, and that's the biggest issue with the Mets.
I think that's why I like Ian Kennedy so much, is because he's got closer experience. He's got a great ERA this year. He doesn't walk guys. Is he a lights out reliever who's going to strike out the side? No, but he's a sure thing. He's been around the block. He's competent. He has starting experience. He has closing experience. This is a guy where, when Sandy made the trade for Tyler Clippard a few years back, and we bolstered the bullpen in the back end, and we added Addison Reed too. Like these are the types of moves that I think we need to make, and not necessarily go out and get a Yoenis Cespedes. Maybe it's Bryant, maybe it's Baez, maybe it's Berrios. I'm not sure, but I would love. I think priority number one, as crazy as this sounds, really needs to be getting another bullpen piece. We saw Familia today give up a home run, although he's been very good. We've seen Edwin Diaz be all over the place. He got bailed out by Michael Conforto last night. We've seen Miguel Castro go through his struggles. We've seen Trevor May go through his struggles. And I would say the only person in that bullpen who is 100% trustworthy right now is Mr. Bushlight himself, Aaron Loup.
Yeah, I still like that bullpen a lot. Familia too. I'll give Familia.
He's had a great year.
Yeah, he's been great. And it's funny to think if Conforto didn't make that excellent throw, along with the great tag, like you said, like that was an underrated part of that play because it did get in on him quick. If he doesn't make that throw, we probably have a reliever that we've traded for already. How crazy is that, right? Because if Edwin gives up that run and doesn't close out that game, they probably push panic at this point and probably trade for a reliever.
Yeah, I would think that too. Although
why should it change? Why should it change? Because we're we going to rely on our outfielders to get outfield assists to get our closer out of the game every time? So we got to go get someone that we could trust because it's not going to be pretty 3 weeks from now if we can't get it.
There's two guys in the bullpen right now who should not be there. Akeem Bostic, who had a 6.7 ERA in AAA, who pitched today, and Anthony Banda, who has had a few appearances. He had a good moment. He also gave up a few runs in another appearance. So I'm all in favor of shoring up the back end of the bullpen. You get a guy like Ian Kennedy. You can move some other pieces around. And maybe you get someone like Gazelman back come early September. You get a Noah Syndergaard back, and you can stick him in the bullpen too. But I'm all about shoring up that bullpen and making sure that when the starters go 6 innings, 1 run, we're not giving up any more.
Yeah. No, I know. And that's why I do think we go get a reliever more than anything. That's why I don't think that trading JD makes any sense because he is a bat that we can need and rely on. We have, you know what I mean? Like trading for a bat, if you're trading JD, he's pretty damn good, especially stats wise, WAR, like across the board.
I would think if they trade JD Davis, I would imagine that's a signal that they're all in on Chris Bryant somehow, some way. And the Cubs.
Right. Well, they have to be. But I mean, I just don't know how much that's going to translate as opposed to getting another arm to spell some of those guys out there.
Yeah.
Because I still do believe in guys like Castro. I just think it's like he's been out there 50 million times. So it's like, yeah. So, if we could get another arm that ideally has closing experience, because I think I just see us having to mix and match the closer role as we get closer to the end of the season and playoffs.
Yep. I'm with you, man. And like a night like last night, if you have an Ian Kennedy in the bullpen and Edwin goes, first 3 guys get on base, or first 2 get on base and he gets an out, go right out there and you pull him and you put Ian Kennedy in.
Yeah. Yeah, and at the end of the day, it does come down to what you said. Like, we have 2 guys in there that shouldn't be there, and like let's fill that. Let's fill those
they have to see
with some relievers.
Yeah. If you're looking at this and you're looking at your depth chart, right, and you see that you have Akeem Bostic and Anthony Banda in the bullpen, and like I said, maybe Gazelman does come back. Who knows? And maybe Syndergaard does come back and they can put him in the bullpen. Who knows? But I mean, you're banking on guys coming back in September who haven't thrown when you can make a trade for an Ian Kennedy right now, and shore that up. So
if I had known Kendall Graveman was available,
I know that trade was stupid, dude. And like, I get what Seattle's doing, but at the same time, like you're chasing the Houston Astros. How do you trade with someone in your division? You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. And I think like if anyone's going to get Craig Kimbrell at this point, the Mariners have to be the favorite. But come on, man. What are we doing?
Dude, it's so weird because like you can hear, you could try to see both sides of it, and pretty much everyone's up in arms over it. But you could see the other side where it's like, well, we have so many other good arms in that pen, but like make that your strength, and that's how you get into the playoffs. Right. You have all of these arms from the 5th inning down. You could shut it down. You know what I mean? Like,
tell the people, who is the Seattle Mariners closer right now?
Paul Sewald.
Do you know who their 5th starter is?
I know they just. Do you know that they just traded Rafael Montero too with Graveman?
Yes, I didn't know that. Yeah. And their 5th starter is Chris Flexen.
No way.
Who's actually having a pretty good year. Yeah.
Oh my God. Flexen, I don't even know what to say.
Formerly Montero. Who else is out there? Ty Kelly is up and down with them from Tacoma.
Did he get at bat in the majors?
I think he's actually playing. I think he's playing in Tokyo right now, actually, for Team Israel.
Yeah. Team Israel, yeah, with Ike Davis maybe.
Ike Davis might be coaching the team at this point.
I wonder if Ike is on the team.
Oh, Isaac.
Unreal, man.
That's crazy. Man. A lot of activity in Seattle. I told you my sister lives out there now, so she'll go to a game every once in a while, and she sent me a picture of like the lineup. I'm like, Jesus, there's like 4 ex-Mets on the Tacoma Rainiers. Like, what are they doing?
That's so funny.
I think here's another piece that I think could possibly be moved for a potential trading piece. He's hot right now. He's 8 for his last, I think, 10 at this point. Brandon Drury. He hit the go-ahead home run, pinch hit home run last night. I could see Brandon Drury being packaged with, in some sort of deal. I know he's not this up-and-coming major prospect, but he's one of those quadruple A players, and he could potentially show himself to be a major league player. He's just got to get a chance somewhere at second base.
That'd be interesting. I mean, if anything, he's going to be like a throwaway. Like, I mean, maybe you could see like Brandon Drury and someone else for Ian Kennedy, Yeah. I love when a guy like that just goes off and starts hitting like he's fucking Pete Rose, though. I love it.
So unexpected.
Yeah, it's great. It's one of the best parts of baseball.
He golfed that one out last night. I was like, that was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't expect it at all. Oh, it's the best.
Like, what an awkward series, right? Drury hits a game-winning home run. Conforto nails a runner at the plate. We start Megill, Loop, Eichhoff. What's going on?
I know. It's like a clear sign for help for a trade.
I gotta get through tomorrow. It's 4:04 now. 24 hours from now, we're either gonna be really happy or really pissed off.
I think either way, we're gonna accept it. You know what I mean? Because what are we gonna get pissed off at if most likely we get like a Bryant or a Story, and we give up some guys on the farm that we didn't want to give up. We'll be pissed about that, but we have to.
That's my biggest thing too. Is like,
yeah.
I feel like the Yankees didn't give up. They gave up 4 prospects, but nobody in like their top 10. I want to say,
they've done that for years though.
And the Rangers are paying Gallo's contract, and he's under control for next year. I mean,
yeah, I know, but they've gone away. I mean, think of how many times Clint Frazier was asked for in a trade, and they still held on to him and got their guy.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
We could do that too.
It's going to be an interesting one tomorrow. Met fans, brace yourself. Matt, you got anything else?
Well, we actually probably should talk about the Kumar Rocker thing.
Oh, yeah. Geez, I didn't even think about that. It's getting dicey. I think the deadline's Sunday for them to sign him. Mets camp is flirting out that there might be an elbow issue. Rocker and his agent vehemently denying that there's an elbow issue. It's getting real dicey here. And I mean, I guess my biggest question around the whole thing is like, let's say the Mets don't sign him. Is he able to go back to Vanderbilt and pitch another year? He is. Yeah. So
he won't though. I would be shocked if they don't sign him. And I would be shocked if he walks away from the money. I think it's more so a matter of the dollars. Like, first of all, Boris is his agent. There is something with his elbow. If they took a physical and then it's been cricket since, and he's the only one out of the 20 guys we drafted that isn't signed, there is something wrong. Like, just be honest at some point. You don't have to go out and say what he has, but like, say you're working on it.
Yeah, this is Boris being Boris.
Yeah, like what the fuck, man? So weird. But with that being said, elbow issue guys have elbow issues all the time. You still sign them. You know what I mean? Like Thor coming back, still offering him a contract next year because of the potential.
But I think that's what it is, right? It's coming down to the money because, okay, hey, you do have this elbow issue. We're not going to offer you the max, at the 10 slot. Yeah. Because we just don't know right now. You are a question mark, sir. You're probably going to have Tommy John eventually. Who doesn't have Tommy John at this point? But at the same time, if you can say on paper, this guy is definitely going to get it eventually, it sucks for him.
I almost don't even flinch at that anymore, though, because
no, me either. I mean, Matthew Allen's going through it right now, and what do we care, right?
And we still don't want to give him up in trades.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone gets it, man. Everyone gets it. It's like a rite of passage at this point. It's just.
Dude, I don't know if you saw this either, but this is me totally changing the subject, by the way. I do think the Mets will sign him. I just think it's a matter of money, and I think Boris is playing hardball, which he should. That's his job. Did you see Strasburg shut down for the season?
No, I didn't.
That's one who had Tommy John surgery, and now he's going down the Matt Harvey route. He's getting thoracic outlet surgery too.
Okay. So, all right. So, I know that he had that issue with his shoulder, right? And then I had heard maybe thoracic outlet, but now that it's confirmed, because I looked up his contract too, they pay him through 2029. It's a lot of 2 years of deferred payments, and he's off.
A lot of deferred money. Yep. Did you know? I guess Rizzo, their GM down there, is a huge deferred money guy. Max Scherzer's owed $40 million this year, and it's all deferred money.
That's great. That's
and
nice.
So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to trade him and be like, hey, whoever trades for him is paying the $40 million of deferred money.
That ain't a bad idea, honestly.
I know. Deferred, they and as Strasburg was 245 and a lot of deferred money on that. And I mean, they let Rendon go. They're flirting with letting Trey Turner go. But this all comes down to them needing enough cash flow to sign Juan Soto when he's out of arbitration.
Yeah, you get Soto, and then hopefully at that point, by the time he's a free agent, you got some guys around him too. So they're gonna break it all down for a few years to build it up.
Yeah, they got the third baseman coming up. What's his name? Carter Kieboom. I think he's supposed to be pretty good. They got Bell over at first. If you can get a haul back for Trey Turner, if they're not going to sign him long term, then they know they're going to sign Juan Soto. You might as well. I think we're seeing like a new trend. It's like Trey Turner, Joey Gallo, and Berrios right now. All these guys have they have years of control still, and it seems like GMs are not afraid to pull the trigger on trading these guys because they know they're not going to win in the next 2 years while they're under control. So they want to get those prospects. They want to try to line their prospects to all come up at the same time, which I think if I can flip this into a broader conversation right now, I think that would be the biggest problem that the Pittsburgh Pirates have had over the years. It's that they've gone prospect, but not everybody coming up at the same time. Like we saw Alonso, McNeil, Conforto, Dom Smith, Brandon Nimmo all come up at the same time.
Yeah.
That's a big wave. That's a big wave.
Yeah, no, you're right. And especially with with what you said, there's less and less 2-month rentals for stars. You know what I mean? Because they want like at least a year or two on that. I will say Trey Turner is as good of a player as anyone else available on that market.
He's got power. Good. He hits for average. He's quick as hell. He'll steal a bag. He can hit a triple. And he's a sure thing over there at shortstop. He's got great range. He's got a good arm.
I'd love for them to trade him. Go ahead, get rid of him.
You know what would be an interesting trade? And I don't know if – all right, let's do like a broad trade deadline talk at this point. If I'm the Yankees, I would seriously consider doing this. I would see what I could get for Gleyber Torres if I could trade Gleyber Torres for Trey Turner and try to do a swap like that. And I know that's like a big blockbuster move, and we don't really see swaps like that anymore. But Gleyber is not a shortstop. He cannot throw the ball from shortstop. He's a second baseman, right? If the Yankees get a shortstop and so their infield going across when healthy could potentially be Urshela, Trey Turner, DJ LeMahieu, and then Luke Voit. I think that's an interesting combination or an interesting package. I just don't like Gleyber's not a shortstop. He's not. And the problem that you have with signing DJ LeMahieu to the 5-year deal is that he's a first baseman, a second baseman, or a third baseman. You can't put him at shortstop. I could see them moving Urshela to short, but that doesn't fix your issue either. Do you move Urshela to short, DJ to third, and then Gleyber to second? You can't do that in the middle of the season. They've got issues.
No, what you said with Trey Turner, I mean, I hope they don't do it, but that makes the most sense. I mean, they're going to have to give up more than Gleyber probably because Gleyber's stock is so down at this point because, he's not a shortstop, but he also isn't hitting at all. He doesn't, he's got nothing there. He's got no pop, nothing. So you're going to have to give more, but I think it would be worth it for them to consider that.
And they would have Trey Turner under control for this, I think, one more year after this year.
And then pay him. Yeah. Yep. No, it makes sense for them. I hope they don't do it. I hope he goes somewhere away, like to Seattle.
But and even if they do that, this goes back to what we said before with the Yankees. It doesn't solve their problem.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But that's a trade that makes way more sense in terms of their position players. Yeah. I mean, they should blow it up a little bit.
They had a chance to do it this offseason, and I think they really regret it. They had a chance to trade Luke Voit when his value was as high as it's ever been, coming off of the 60-game season, leading the AL in home runs, and they had a chance to trade Luke Voit. and move some money around, and they just didn't do it. And imagine they traded Voit. It would allow them to play DJ at first. Glaber would be over at second base. And then they flirted with the idea of bringing Didi Gregorius back as a free agent, and you just stick him over at shortstop. Now, I know Didi has had a bit of a rough year over in Philadelphia health-wise, but you can't foresee that at that moment in time. I thought that would have made them a better team, and we've talked about this before. Up the middle, right? Their up the middle defense right now is not where it needs to be.
No, yeah, that's why I think it helps them a lot if they got someone like Turner. I mean, they are trying to shop Voit now, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's hard to ship a guy who's done nothing all year.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, they're in a bit of a rough patch. What's that?
Let's make some predictions here. Bryant, where do you think he goes?
Giants.
See, I think we get Chris Bryant.
Okay.
I'm going to write these down. Baez,
I think. I almost think he stays.
I say A's.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Berrios
is interesting because I think that they're accepting less for him now, because I think they said that they're increasingly willing to trade him at this point. So, and they're getting bombarded with offers apparently. So I actually think, and this makes a lot of sense because we did talk about their rotation and how they got some no names in there, the Mariners.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, you would think maybe they got some prospects to get it done.
Yeah. I say Berrios stays. I think they're just flirting with it. I don't think it happens. Rizzo,
Red Sox.
I say Red Sox too.
Yeah.
Kimbrel.
Us.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. I say Mariners. Whoa.
Dude, I think that's our big get. I think we're gonna swoop in, and what's he on the books for another 2-3 years?
What does that do to Edwin Diaz?
Doesn't matter. I know but his frame of mind is never that great, which is not good for a closer anyway. He gets rattled, I feel, fairly easily. It is what it is, man.
No, I hear you.
And Kimbrel is, not a lot of guys can you compare to old school guys like Hoffman, Rivera. It just isn't what it is anymore with that. Kimbrel's stats are close to that.
Yeah. He's having a great year. He really is. Yeah. I got a few more. You ready? This one's a little bit more of a low key one, but I do think that he will potentially be on the move. Whit Merrifield.
I like him for the Red Sox too. It just all depends. Yeah, it all depends if they could get Rizzo and Merrifield. That's incredible.
Yeah. Trey Turner.
I feel like at this point they gotta trade him, right?
I don't know.
I feel like at this point they gotta trade him. They just have to. I don't know if him being on COVID IL probably doesn't affect much at all. I'm just trying to think of a team that
move the shortstop.
Yeah. So I'm thinking he stays still. I think he's one of the guys that stays. Rizzo has said that he has denied reports saying that they're not willing to pay him. He says that's inaccurate. I think he stays.
I think he stays too.
Yeah.
Scherzer.
Ooh, LA.
The Dodgers?
Yeah.
Man.
Yep. Dude, they have unlimited prospects. Bauer's not coming back. Let's be real.
No, I don't think this is crazy, but I would say I think it's like 50-50 right now that he may never play again.
Yeah, it's very bad when they keep delaying your return and
Yep.
there's no pushback from the players union or
Yep.
your agent.
Yep.
It's not good. So I think LA, they don't care about money. They'll pay off his remaining whatever it is in
Yeah, I mean
deferred salary.
they're already over it, so they don't care.
And somehow they have the best prospects always ever that they could just get rid of and then replace. So
Donaldson.
I think he stays. I don't think anyone wants him enough. I know there were talks that heated up a couple weeks ago. The Twins would love to get rid of him, right? But who would be willing to take on?
Because they don't want to pay him.
Yeah.
Last one, Hosmer.
Hosmer is a tough one because that's like
They
got to get a. What's that?
A lot of years left.
A lot of years left. I like him a lot. He's always very consistent, but who's gonna pay for that? I think I think the Padres have to do something, especially if the Dodgers get Scherzer, though, right? Hosmer was supposed to get included in that Joey Gallo trade that fell through for them. Maybe it goes back to the Royals.
Really?
I
can see that.
I think
he's relatively cheap the last few years of his contract. I think it's 12 and a half.
Yeah. And the Royals have been slowly forming some guys, whereas I think Dayton Moore could just see him as a clubhouse presence around those young guys that could kind of help.
I like that. I'll say stays. Sorry, I said he was the last one, but I want to ask this one selfishly. Ian Kennedy.
Dude, we've heard nothing on him, though. That's the thing. No, I'm the only one that has said anything.
We can do Givens, too. We'll do Givens next. He's the last one.
Okay. The only thing, and this is what they should do.
Oh, we didn't do Story either. Jesus, I'm going to keep going.
We didn't do Story either. Yeah, that's all right. I think if we get Kimbrel, we're not going to get Ian Kennedy. If we don't get Kimbrel, we'll get Ian Kennedy. But I said we were going to get Kimbrel. The Yankees are going to get Ian Kennedy.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to say Padres for Ian Kennedy.
That'd be great for them. Honestly, yeah. I like that a lot for them.
Did you hear me? Givens.
Oh, you mean Gibson?
No, Michael Givens.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking Kyle Gibson.
I don't think they trade Gibson. I don't even think he's being talked about.
Yeah, it was weird. He was the same thing 2 weeks ago, heated up a lot. And then nothing. So I don't know what they do with him. With Gibbons. Stays.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything on him, right?
I'll say Dodgers last second.
Okay.
Because if I have Max going to the Giants, I think the Dodgers would retaliate there. Last one. Final last one. Trevor Story.
I think the Rockies have to trade him.
Yes.
I think they have to. I think it would be I love when a team hold on to a player.
Oh, hold on. You need to finish quick. I just got an update.
Is it the Mets?
No, it's not the Mets.
Yankees.
It's not you think Story to the Yankees?
Yeah. For the same reasons that you said of getting rid of Glaber.
I'll say a sleeper one here. I'll say Story to the Reds.
Okay. I like
breaking news. Scherzer deal in the works.
To where?
Let's see if either of us were right. We were both wrong. You said the Dodgers. I said the Giants. It's the other team out west, the Padres.
Wow.
That's according to Mark Feinsand. So we'll see. Feinsand's usually pretty good.
That's big. That's big.
It's a big one. All right, we're both 0 for 1. We'll keep track of this and we'll see how we do.
Yeah. No, that
All
was
right.
fun.
Yeah, that was. Should I recap it?
No, you got it written down. We could go over it next week.
I'll take a picture of it and send it to you.
Yeah.
All right. You got anything else? Let's see what the Padres gave up here, man. This could be big haul.
Next week will be awesome too because
next week's gonna be fun. I think we should do an early one right after the 3 games with the Reds, maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
Who knows?
Yep.
All right, man.
A new acquisition and 2 games in the books with them.
You think we'll have Craig Kimbrell? I think we'll have Chris Bryant, and we'll go from there.
That's it.
All right, that's another episode of the LFGM podcast. You can put it in the books.